the last game that we have to talk about on this episode of the JT Sports Podcast, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Now, when you look at Kansas City, they were able to defeat the San Francisco 49ers last week, 19-16. Shane Buechele had the game-winning touchdown run. He was really solid, and both Anthony Gordon and Shane Buechele played fairly well. You have a quarterback battle to see who's going to be that third quarterback on the team, and that's probably going to be the last quarterback spot that they're going to have, because I doubt that they're going to bring 4 quarterbacks in. But both Anthony Gordon and Shane Buechele performed really well. Shane Buechele, a lot of you guys probably remember him from SMU. SMU had a really spectacular offense. So when you look at Shane Buechele, man, like, I was really impressed. I think he's a really good fit at Bruce Arians' offense. Then you look at Arizona. Arizona defeated the Cowboys 19-16. But when you look at Arizona, Rondale Moore was really impressive. Really impressive. Now, we didn't see him make, like a big touchdown grab or like have a big run, anything like that. But he definitely had his hand in his offense a good amount of times. And it looked like Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals coaching staff made it a game plan or made a focal point heading into that game last week against the Cowboys to find a way to get him involved. And it seems like he did that. And so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing him be that 4th wide receiver on the team. I think Arizona is going to find a lot of creative ways to get him a ball. Like, all you really got to do with Rondale Moore is give him the ball in space, rather that be a handoff, a jet sweep, a screen pass. All you got to do is give him the ball. He can make a lot of things happen after the catch. Kansas City's offensive line was really good, really good. Now, I think they played the majority of their starters on the offensive line, if not all of them. And the reason for that is because anytime you construct a new offensive line that doesn't really have a lot of experience playing with each other, chemistry is really important when it comes to the offensive line. Like, a lot of people think that, Kansas City's offensive line is going to be great because they assembled a lot of big names, which we expect it to be, but sometimes it doesn't really work out that way because you got to have that chemistry there. Football is also a game that it matters about chemistry. It matters about understanding your teammates, understanding who has to block who, and when you have to do it, when you have to move down to the second level, when you got to double team somebody, you got to recognize the mic, which is the center's job. Sometimes the center's like the quarterback of the offensive line. So the offensive line for Kansas City was really good, as we expect it to be, and it's really important for them to develop that chemistry. And also, Kansas City's defensive line showed their depth. They had 4 sacks last week. You had a guy and Tim Ward who had 2 sacks himself. He was really impressive. So the defensive line depth for Kansas City was really on display in that game against San Francisco last week. Now, Kansas City's secondary is still developing. It's still a little bit up and down. You saw that big blown coverage that they had when Trey Lance had that big dart that went for a touchdown. So the secondary is still a little bit up and down. You definitely do have some talent there, but there's still a lot of room for more improvement. Marco Wilson, rookie cornerback out of Florida, notoriously known for throwing the shoe against LSU that pretty much, lost the game for Florida, was really good. And I've been telling people that Marco Wilson is not trash. Like, a lot of people think Marco Wilson is trash. Like, he was not bad at Florida. Like, was he great? No. But was he awful? No, he was a little bit in between. He had a really good game last week. He had a couple of pass breakups, and he also was getting into it when it came to, making tackles, which is something that surprised me because I thought he was more of, like a ankle biter. But he was getting in, making some plays when it came to getting tackles. So I was a little bit impressed about that as well. Now, I really want to see more out of the pass rush for Arizona in this game because they didn't really have any sacks last week, which, kind of concerns me. Maybe Dallas offensive line improved, but hopefully their pass rush depth improves in this game because, I would like to see them have at least 1 sack, and the offensive line playing the preseason isn't really all that great, So for Arizona, hopefully they can get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback in this game. The players to watch for both these two teams, keep my eyes on a rookie cornerback, Marco Wilson. Maybe he can make a maybe he can make, run at one of those starting cornerback spots, because right now we know that Byron Murphy is going to be one of the starters, but what's going to happen with Robert Alford or Malcolm Butler? Could Marco Wilson end up being one of the starting cornerbacks for Arizona? I definitely feel like if he continues to play the way that he has, he also has gotten some pretty good praise coming out of training camp. Eno Benjamin was really good, and a lot of people haven't really been talking about Eno Benjamin on Arizona this offseason, because it pretty much has came down to like James Conner and the other running back that they have, Chase Edmonds. It really seems like it's Chase Edmonds and James Conner. But Eno Benjamin, I told a lot of people, don't sleep on Eno Benjamin. He had a really good game. He had 5 carries and only had 50 rushing yards and a touchdown. He also had like a big 38-yard run as well. So when you look at Eno Benjamin, man, like I definitely feel like he's being a little bit, underutilized in terms of, like how people have been talking about him during training camp. Like I really feel like you give him a little bit more touches, he definitely can produce. DeAndre Baker, cornerback for Kansas City. I want to see what he does in this game. He did get a good amount of playing time last week. I want to see what he's going to do against Arizona in this week's game. A really interesting player for Kansas City that I want to talk about is Joe Fortson. He's like a hybrid tight end wide receiver, and he's going to be that backup behind Travis Kelce, or at least he's trying to be the backup behind Travis Kelce, because if Travis Kelce goes down, then you want to have somebody else who has kind of like a similar skill set. So he's like a wide receiver tight end hybrid. He had a really nice game last week, caught 3 catches for 32 receiving yards as well. Keep your eyes out on him. And defensive end Tim Ward had 2 sacks. This guy was a beast last week. Like, this guy was good in the run defense and in pass rushing situations. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes out for Tim Ward, and maybe he can have like a little bit of a say in terms of, how much playing time he gets this year, because if you get 2 sacks in the preseason game, that definitely has to be something that you have to take notice of. Now, I want to see more out of Kansas City in terms of, getting Mecole Hardman involved, because I think Mecole Hardman could be in for a breakout season. Hopefully I get to see a little bit more of him in this game. I'm also going to be looking at linebacker Nick Bolton. I was really high on him. I felt like he was one of the best linebackers coming out of this past year's draft, so I'm definitely going to be watching him in this game as well. But this is it for my Kansas City Chiefs versus Arizona Cardinals preview. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below.